Hello, and welcome back to the Pokémon Lab. Today, we've got Moltres, and, well, I'll just say it suffers from the same problems that Charizard suffers from, and we'll just leave it at that. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Rule number 1, I'm only using Moltres for the entire run, but that's pretty self-explanatory. Rule number 2, no random encounters or optional trainers. That's to keep it as consistent as possible between each run. I want Moltres to fight the same Pokemon that Zapdos fought, that Blastoise fought, that Venusaur fought, so on and so forth. That keeps the stat experience the same. Just for those of you who don't know, stat experience is just kind of like how IVs work in Gen 1. Each Pokemon you defeat gives you a certain boost to one of your stats, and by fighting all of the exact same trainers and no wild encounters, that keeps that between each Pokemon. Rule 3, I packed in rare candies, elixirs, repels, master balls, and full restores so that I don't have to go to the Pokemon Center, and I can use rare candies to level up when I need to, repels to get rid of random encounters, which would add a lot of time, 1, and 2, a lot of randomness to the runs. So max repels kind of keep to a limited amount. Rule number 4, if I lose, I use a rare candy to level 1 time and then I fight again. Unless I think that fight was just markedly unfair or I want to give that Pokemon a little bit of a chance. Rule number 5, no bicycle, just walking everywhere, because again, to keep it consistent. I'm trying to do this as an experiment scientifically, so I want to keep the variables to a minimum. And then finally, rule number 6, the only items that I'm allowed to pick up off the ground are TMs that I'm going to use. So that's about it. So we're going to go ahead and get into the run. It's going to be interesting. Let me tell you, it's going to be interesting. So we start off with rival number 1. First rival fight, the rival's going to be using Squirtle because Moltres is fire type, Squirtle's water type. It's the best one for it. And then we get to Brock. So obviously, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to lose the rival fight until I get to like really, really low level Pokemon. And even then, it's not a mandatory fight that you have to win. If you lose it, you just lose and the game continues. So I'm never going to retry that fight. I'm just going to, if they win, they win. A little extra experience. Woohoo, congratulations. So, but yeah, now we're fighting Brock, and Moltres starting off weak. needing the rare candy first fight, or second fight. And it's mostly just because Moltres doesn't have a really good fire move. He's got Fire Spin, which is basically just Wrap, but with the Fire Spin text. So it's not an awful move, but it's not the best move. It doesn't have near as much power points as Wrap does, if I remember correctly. I'll put them both up there to show you the stats of each move, but Fire Spin, just really not a great move. And then Peck's not going to do anything to Geodude or Onix because they're rock type. So you don't really have any or many good options for Brock. So we end up just kind of having to do the tried and true of get faster than Brock and then bait out his Bide. Which, in that one, the fire spins counted enough that it didn't matter. So we won after only two rare candies. It's not too bad. And then we get to the second rival fight. Yet another doozy. Because, I mean, again, a lot of these early fights are going to really suck because there's a lot of Pokemon that are strong against a fire flying type. Anything rock, anything that's got a water move or anything like that's going to slap. And nothing's really weak to fire. So I don't really get a whole lot of good matchups for Moltres early on. Brock, Misty, even Surge is strong against Moltres' flying type. So Moltres has a really tough time of it in the very beginning. After 3 more rare candies, we make it through Rival 2. And then on to Misty, which, again, not a very good matchup. Obviously, Misty has a very strong early game Pokemon in Starmie. It's part psychic type, so it even has good special defense, or good special. It's just special in this game, but still it counts as defense. So its normal physical defense and its special defense are both pretty decent. So Peck or Fire Spin is really not going to do much. And then obviously Fire Spin does half damage to Star You and Star Me just off the bat. So quite a few losses. It's to be expected. I kind of came into this knowing that Moltres wasn't going to do very good in the very beginning. At least with Charizard, you had Ember, which is a much stronger move than Fire Spin. Moltres doesn't really have that, so... But we get to level 25. We get a good lucky hit with that first Peck, and then the Fire Spin just does good damage, and then she ends up just using X Defend for whatever reason, so we'll take it. And then now into Rival 3 in the SSN. Here we're pretty over leveled at this point because obviously we're using a single Pokemon and he's got a full team. So even though we're weak to the War Turtles, Water Gun and Bubble, we're pretty high level, so it's really not too detrimental. And then we get to Lieutenant Surge. So the Surge is another issue. Obviously, I forgot to heal. It's my stupid mistake. We're not going to count that one against Moltres. So we go back in at level 27, try again. Unfortunately, we are not going to fare too much better. Raichu obviously has Thundershock and Thunderbolt. It, for some reason, chooses to use Thundershock the first time, but 2 more Thunderbolts will do it. We use our rare candy and we try again. Basically, it's just kind of luck of the draw. If we can get Raichu down before it uses too many Thunderbolts, then we're good. Critical hit Thunderbolt's going to take us down from full health even, so. And then also we want to hope that Voltorb doesn't use Sonic Boom, because Sonic Boom's going to do 20 damage no matter what, and we don't want that. We want as much health as possible for Raichu, and we want Raichu to use Thunder Shock as much as possible. Sometimes it does that, sometimes it tends to go for Thunderbolts, kind of luck of the draw here. But we've used 2 rare candies at this point. I tried again. I'm really trying to give Moltres the benefit of the doubt. I mean, at this point, we're already at 10 rare candies. Zapdos had 12 or 14, one of the 2, throughout the entire run. So I was trying to throw Moltres a little bit of a bone here by fighting again without using a rare candy. But in the end, we needed it. So we got lucky. For whatever reason, Raichu decided to use Thunder Shock instead of Bolt, which didn't do enough damage. And that's it. So, yeah, I got Razor Wind and Double Edge. Razor Wind is like right next to the rocket that drops the lift key. So it wasn't really too far out of the way to grab it. I figured I might as well since it's flying type, and it's not the greatest move, but hey, whatever. It's better than Peck. Kinda. I don't know. I don't even know if I would consider it better than Peck, considering it takes 2 turns to get off. It's like fly, but we make it through Giovanni. Either way. Obviously, we're going to not have trouble with Erica, because we're 2 times super effective with flying and fire, so she's really not going to do anything to us. Make it through pretty easy, and then we're at Pokemon Tower rival fight. Just pretty easy. I mean, we're at such a high level. We're 10 levels higher than his ace, so and he's not even fully evolved, and we are still a legendary Pokemon, so it's still
Moltres still does have pretty good stats, especially for that point in the game. Level 35, that's pretty decent. So we make it through the rival easily enough, and then we hit Koga. Koga is going to pose a bit of a problem, as you can see. It's not even necessarily that Koga's strong. He's just really bulky. He's got Muck and Wheezing, which both have pretty decent health and pretty decent defense. And I don't really have a special move that does a lot of damage. I mean, Fire Spin is it. So Fire Spin doesn't do enough to really take advantage of Koga's weak special. So I kind of just have to bash my head against the wall with Double Edge and hope that it works. And then obviously they've got Poison, which just makes everything worse, because if you get poisoned early on, you're basically a ticking time bomb. And then also, Wheezing has self-destruct. So Wheezing can just butt blast you right at the end when you're at your most vulnerable, because you've been fighting through its pre-evolve form and Grimer and Muck. Which Muck is a pain. Muck with Sludge just does a lot of damage. Yeah, so we know that one's a loss. Going into Wheezing with 23 health is not the way. So we try again. Already at... now we've used more rare candies than Zapdos did in its entire run. So, not looking great. It is a bit of a blessing and a curse, though. I mean, Zapdos was strong enough that he used his rare candies pretty early when he was relatively weak against Brock and then against Giovanni later on. But Moltres, yeah, you'll see that it can be a kind of a curse. Certain Pokemon, like I think Venusaur kind of suffered from that. Pokemon that don't have a really easy go of the beginning of the game, they really hit a wall when they get to the Elite Four because you're super under-leveled. Whereas the Pokemon that need a little bit of rare candy help, they're already kind of a decent level. But 16 rare candies, we make it through Koga and on to the 5th rival fight in Silphcoat. We're again pretty over leveled because we had to level for Koga quite a bit, so we have that extra bulk and extra damage to really help us out here. Whatever reason, Blastoise just didn't use. I was worried that I was gonna hit recoil, and then I just said screw it. Made it with 1 health. Yay, we love that. By the skin of our teeth. And then Giovanni is going to become a pain. I was trying to decide what to do here. I think I got distracted a little bit. That's probably what it was. But yeah, Giovanni has some really tough Pokemon from Moltres, like the Rhyhorn, later on Rhydon. They're not the best matchup. Luckily, at this point, I'm so high level that I can just Fire Spin the Rhyhorn down. And Nidoqueen and Nidoking aren't rock type, so those I can still do a decent amount of damage with physical moves. So we make it through. Then we get to Sabrina. Sabrina's not really that big a problem. Pretty nicely over-leveled, and her Pokemon are really weak defensive-wise, so they don't really stand up to the Double Edge. get to Blaine. We're starting to hit a stride a little bit. Not really. Obviously, this is our 4th in a row. If we beat Blaine, 4th in a row that we've won first try. Yeah. I wanted to give Moltres the benefit of the doubt here. And just see if that was just a fluke. Try again. And then, of course, I don't know what I was doing. The double-edged. I was playing a dangerous game with that double-edged, but hey, we made it through. And then we get to Giovanni. So I forgot I got Fire Blast from Blaine, which actually helps. But yeah, Fire Blast really helps. You see the difference when you have a good special move that does damage versus Zapdos really struggled against Giovanni there just because I couldn't hit them with Thunderbolt. Moltres, you can't, so that fight ends up going a little bit easier, going to Moltres over Zapdos, but that's about the only one. Zapdos pretty much slapped every other time, and Moltres kind of fails, especially once Blastoise starts using Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is a doozy, and Blastoise is a big bulky boy. The quadruple B Blastoise, big bulky boy. It's like you can see I'm making it through his first few Pokemon pretty easily. And that would kind of make me think that Moltres could handle it, but the Hydro Pump, I mean, I can take down 4 or 5 all I want, but at the end of the day, if that 5th Pokemon or 6th Pokemon, if it's got a super effective 120 base power move, then it's going to blast me. And it does every single time, pretty much. I don't know why I didn't just go for the max elixir there. Could have just done that, saved myself the trouble. Not that it would have mattered in the end. Just get Hydro Pumped and have to try again. Basically, my only saving grace on this is going to be getting a Hydro Pump miss. That's pretty much it. If I can get a miss, then I can get maybe enough damage off on the Blastoise to actually take it down. And obviously the rest of his Pokemon are pretty easy to take down. Alakazam is kind of tough. I probably should have just been using Double Edge instead of using thing. But yeah, 2 Hydro Pump misses. We get super lucky. But it's okay, because Lorelei, she's going to make us earn that second Elite Four fight. Let me tell you. She's going to make you earn it. Yeah, Jinx. It's going to be Jinx and Lapras. Fire Blast does enough damage to deal with Dugong, to deal with Cloyster, Slowbro. I don't know why I keep using Double Edge on these Pokemon. Double Edge isn't going to do enough damage. They're all pretty defensive physically. So I don't know why I was thinking Double Edge was going to do anything. Should have just been using Fire Blast, but I was trying to save it for Jinx, because Jinx being the only Pokemon that isn't part water type on this team, a Fire Blast is actually super effective against her, because fire is super effective to ice. So the rest of them it's not, because they're water type too. Cloyster's water type, Dugong's water type, Slowbro, and Lapras are all water type, which sucks, because if Lorelei had only ice type Pokemon, or like even just only one Pokemon that was ice water, this fight would be a billion times easier. But this is Gen 1 and they love their water types in Gen 1, so everything's part water type, and that means Moltres is weak. But for level 55, go for the max elixir. I'm really thinking that's my only chance. The Hydro Pump isn't a crit. Finally take down a Lapras, level 55. So we're moving on. The rest of these fights hopefully will be pretty easy. Won't be a big deal. Missing a Fire Blast is annoying. We love to miss a Fire Blast. I don't know why I bothered using Sky Attack. Should just use Fly. Sky Attack is way more base power, like incredible base power. I think it's it's like 140 base power if I remember correctly, which is ridiculous. But it's a 2-turn move, and like, why? I don't really need. I could have just Fire Blasted, but whatever. I wanted to use Sky Attack one time. I think that's probably why I used it. I just wanted to like say that I used Sky Attack. We get Agatha. It's decent. Fighting Agatha with Fire Blast is pretty nice. But in the end, the confusion whittled us down. And so we go back to Lorelei and die over and over and over and over and over again. So finally, what, 5 rare candies later, we finally make it back to Agatha. And then just sleep, turn 1, Dream Eater, Nightshade, Dream Eater. Gotta love that. Agatha, you are such a troll. But a couple turns later, make it back. Breakthrough Confusion to hit that fly. I don't know why I was using a 2-turn attack when I was confused. That's a recipe for disaster, but hey, whatever, it worked out. You gotta understand, we're 30 rare candies into this. My brain was fried. I was screaming to get out of this. I was like, please God, please just let me out of this run. It's awful. It's been a slog the entire time, but then Lorelei Lorelei was awful. And so I'm not even gonna lie, once I got knocked back that first time, that first little montage, I save stated Agatha, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I beat Lorelei a couple times. It's somewhat consistent. I'm done doing it. She's a pain. I'm done. So, and then once I beat Agatha, I did the same thing. I saved. I'm not doing that again. We'll fight Lance until we win, and then we're gonna fight the champion until we win. And let me tell you, fight Lance we will.
That one was particularly egregious. Getting Dragon Raged when you're at 39 health and Dragon Rage always does 40 damage. Disrespectful. And then also, there was one in there where I had 2 health and the Gyarados Hydro Pumped me. And I'm like, brother, please. You don't need that. That's overkill. I have 2 health. Just flick me. Just a little... We finally, level 69, finally get to Dragonite. And win. 3 health. Here we go. We're gonna take on the champion. At level 69, it should be pretty doable. It's like 10 levels higher than the Alakazam. 8 levels higher than Rhydon. And then he full restores. Why? Why couldn't the double edge just take you out? Just die, Rhydon. Please. Yeah, that's fine. Get burned. Die. Do it again. Do it again. Die this time. Fire Blast on the Arcanine, which is disrespectful. I'm not gonna lie. Why would I do that? But you know what? It does enough damage, so screw it. Obviously, Fire Blast the Exeggutor, and we're gonna... I tried to Blizzard because he does that withdraw. For whatever reason, he uses withdraw quite a bit, so I was trying to just bait it out, and it worked one time, but didn't work. It didn't work a second time. So level 70. We try again. Fire Blast does good damage. We get the burn on the Rhydon. The double edge takes him out. Fly do more damage against the Arcanine? No. Should have just Fire Blasted, but whatever. Trying to save it. Trying to save the PP for it so that I don't have to keep using it over and over again. Because Fire Blast is my best move against Blastoise, ironically enough. It just... Yeah, and I'm trying to decide. And then the Fly makes it. We had it. He was low enough that the Fly did the job. Let me tell you, I was tired after this run. I just went to bed. I was so tired. Level 70, 36 rare candies. With a time of 3 hours and 29 minutes. So where does Moltres go? At the very, very bottom, obviously. With 8 more rare candies than the next lowest Pokemon, Dragonite. It's pretty sad. And then that also makes me think my Venusaur time is a fluke. I might just off camera do another Venusaur run and see what the time is when I'm not getting distracted, because that is such an outlier. It's really bad that Venusaur, the number 4 Pokemon, was only 5 minutes faster than Moltres, which obviously that's not true. Like, it's just, I mean, it's just plain as day. So maybe I'll go through and do that. But Moltres, boy oh boy, Moltres, you really earned that orange banner. You really wanted to represent your typing with that color, because good God, that was awful. I felt that it deserved to be in a different tier, not yellow, just because yellow was 20 rare candies, 20 to 30 rare candies, and Moltres was almost at 40. So Moltres bringing up the rear. Yeah, this one was a slog. This was rough for sure. I expected Moltres to do bad, didn't expect it to do that bad. I imagine there are going to be many Pokemon that beat that one out, but we will see. Thanks for joining me on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was fun to make, even though it was a real slog. But you know, that's how these things go. Not every experiment's going to be a fun one, but they're all important, right? At the end of the day. And we strive for good experiments here at the Pokemon Lab. So if you like that video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. There should be a thing on the right side of the screen that's got all my other videos, so you can see all of these runs if you haven't seen them yet. Mewtwo is great. Zapdos, fantastic run. Venusaur, my boy. I'm proud of that one. Dragonite was a pain, but you know, that's how it goes. So, next one, Articuno. I've already done the run. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. If you wanna see how good or bad Articuno did, stay tuned for the next video. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.